Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Learn in Quarantine. Today we are going to take a look at some tips on how to lift people's spirits and how to help them forget for a few minutes that there is a deadly virus out there fluttering around looking for them. Jokes are always a good place to start. A bat walks into a bar and says, "Corona for everyone." 3 guys show up at a house party, 2 of them obviously very ill, coughing heavily, sweating, and the owner of the house runs up to the healthy guy and says, "What the hell? I hope at least you had the decency to bring something for the others." And the guy says, "Of course, a couple of cases of corona." A pangolin walks into a bar, wearing a suit and a tie, looking all depressed. He wobbles across the floor up to the bar and climbs onto the bar stool, sits down, frowning. The bartender walks over and says, "What's with the long face?" And the pangolin says, "Just been to the court, first hearing, don't ask." The bartender says, "Okay, what will you have then?" And the pangolin says, "Heineken, 'cause I didn't do it." Now, apart from jokes, uplifting stories are also a good idea, and what better uplifting story than a biblical one? Jesus is sitting in a bar in Nazareth one late morning over a jug of wine. Suddenly the door opens and in walks the leper whom he has just cured earlier that morning. And the leper is carrying a sack over his shoulder. He looks around the joint and he sees Jesus at the bar. So he walks up to him, looking all smug, showing off his toes in his sandals. And he throws the sack on the floor and sits down and says, "Hey Jesus, thanks for the thing earlier today, appreciate it." And Jesus says, "No worries." And he looks at the sack on the floor and he sees there's something swarming around in the sack. And so he says, "Well, what do you got in there in the sack?" And the leper says, "Well, since I can finally hold cutlery, I thought I would treat myself, and I stopped by the market and I bought this exotic delicacy. They're called pangolins, I was told, and I bought 3 of them, so they are probably fighting in there." And Jesus says, "Well, right, but why did you buy live ones?" And the leper says, "Well, I suppose I could have bought dried ones. They are half the price of live ones, but they told me that their meat is best eaten fresh and raw." And Jesus just looks at him and says, "You just don't learn, do you? I mean, do as you please, but don't come back to me begging for help again." And he grabs his jug of wine and leaves the bar. A few days later, Jesus is walking down the street in Nazareth, and who does he see? The leper again. And he's walking all happy, whistling with his fully functional lips. And Jesus asks, "Well, what are you so happy about?" And the leper says, "Well, after you left the bar, I thought about it, and you were right. I was being selfish and inconsiderate. So when I left the bar, I saw this sickly old lady in the street begging, and I thought, well, she definitely needs to eat much more than I do, so I gave her the sack with the 3 pangolins in it. And I know, Jesus, that you said pride is a very bad thing for a man to have, but I can't help but feel a little proud of myself, because I haven't seen her begging in the streets since." There you have it. Now you know how to lift the spirits of people around you in these difficult times, especially the spirits of those who are affected by the virus. Stay safe, and I'll see some of you next time.